Cottages in Big Bear. Clean, comfortable, and affordable. Check them out. goldenbear.net.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-643-9406. That's 1-800-643-9406. Again, 1-800-643-9406. Call now.
Are you looking for the right place to purchase your landscaping items? Well, come see us at Hydroscape. Hydroscape offers a large selection of irrigation products including Irritrol and Toro, such as their efficient precision nozzles. For 40 years, Hydroscape has been family-owned and operated, serving Southern California. With 17 locations, our knowledgeable and experienced staff is equipped to help you with all your irrigation, landscape, and outdoor living projects. Whether you're installing irrigation systems, wanting to maintain a healthy landscape, or simply create a beautiful lit space for outdoor entertaining, Hydroscape is the place to go. Visit our website at hydroscape.com for more information and find helpful articles on our blog. Or call our customer service center at 1-800-395-4477.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-643-6931 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-643-6931 to take your call now. Call 1-800-643-6931. That's 1-800-643-6931. Again, 1-800-643-6931.
Like to spend a few days in another world? Then write this down. Golden Bear Cottages, Big Bear Lake. Now, listen, this is not some corporate-owned operation. It's family-owned and operated by some real nice people. Unique? Oh, you bet. Golden Bear Cottages features 28 one-of-a-kind cabins on a 5-acre historic site. Great for families, couples, and groups. And cabins are available with 1 to 7 bedrooms. Golden Bear Cottages is just a stone's throw from Big Bear Lake and super close to 3 great ski areas. Now, I could go on all day about Golden Bear Cottages in Big Bear, but to see everything, just go to goldenbear.net. Again, goldenbear.net. Golden Bear Cottages in Big Bear. Clean, comfortable, and affordable. Check them out. goldenbear.net.
The other station claims to be local. Since when is Glendale local? KCAA News Talk 1050, your true local station.
Hey! What the? Honey! The water just stopped in here.
They turned it off because you're wasting water.
What? What are you talking about?
You know.
Because you know it's all about that drought, no water. It's all about that drought, no water. It's all about that drought, no water. It's all about that drought, drought. Yeah, it's pretty clear, we're really short on blue. It's time to save it, like we're supposed to do. Some say it's doom, gloom, and all our grass must go. But together we can make it and enjoy our golden state. It's all about that drought, about that drought, no water. It's all about that drought, no water. It's all about that drought, no water. It's all about that drought, drought.
Good evening, Southern California, and welcome to the Water Zone Show with this Rob Starr, and along with, I have to pick another introduction for my partner here, the indisputable intelligent idol of the irrigation industry, Mr. Mike Barron.
Hey, well, thank you very much. You never cease to amaze me how you outdo yourself every week, so appreciate that.
But you know it's never going to fit on your business cards.
That's true. That's true. Well, you know what they say is that the longer your title is, the more insignificant your actual job is. So I wouldn't want to put all that on the card.
I'm in trouble?
No.
You have something to tell me?
No, not at all, not at all. Well, hey, did you hear the good news about the state of California and its water use in the month of June?
We're not as thirsty as we used to be.
Well, I don't know what's happening, but we exceeded the governor's mandate of a reduction of 25% of urban water use in the month of June. You know what that was, by chance? Do you happen to know that, Mr. Avid Reader?
I haven't no call-ins. We don't know.
27.3%. 27.3% is what the state of California reduced its per capita water usage in urban communities. So, boy, that's 2 months in a row of exceeding the governor's requested reduction. And Santa Cruz, city of Santa Cruz, continues to amaze me. They jumped to a whopping 44 gallons per day per person in the month of June, and they increased 10% from May, which was 40. So, I mean, I'm thinking, I better get one of those low-flow shower heads to get down there. So that's
a smart
pretty good.
controller.
Or a smart controller, right? Hey, who would have thought that we'd have as much rain in July and now August? It was actually drizzling on the way over to the studio.
Yep, it was.
So if you don't have one of those smart controllers that automatically turns off your irrigation system after a good rain,
your neighbors will tell on you.
Possibly because...
It's all
wait
about
for it. No, wait for it. There is now a toll-free number and a website where you can anonymously report water waste that you might see as you travel around. So,
what happens when people have smart controllers and all the right precision nozzles and they're watering correctly, and somebody's going to think, hey, look, I see water coming on, so they're wasting water when they're really not wasting water. That could happen.
That could happen because really without those new products that will be more efficient, you can have that lawn looking good and reduce your water consumption, that 25%. So,
and more.
And I know the agencies are working hard to promote through education, through outreach, through programs, the use of those technologies. So, the water agencies, you got to give them credit. Throughout the state, they have really taken this issue to heart, even though it's cutting into their revenues. But they are succeeding in getting the word out.
They did take a poll recently, and people said they're willing to pay a little more every single month to make sure that they can have water and we can build up the infrastructure. So that's kind of a good sign.
That's a great sign. I think water now is one of the key topics on the minds of many Californians because we realize how it affects so many aspects of what we do on a day-to-day basis and how, what our environment looks like and what we maybe took for granted for too many years. But I know we're going to have a guest later on today where we're going to ask him some questions about El Nino, and hopefully September, October, we're going to be benefiting from some precipitation.
Need the water. The good thing is, for people call in, we're going to announce, we had a contest going for the last couple of weeks, and it was for a complete retrofit, professionally installed and redone. All you had to do is go onto the website and send a picture and 300 words why you would like an upgraded system, and we do have a winner, and I can announce it today because we talked to them, and that's the rules.
Excellent.
And it's Dominic and Brett Jorgensen of Long Beach, so we congratulate them. We did contact them. Actually, I talked to them the other night, and they're excited about that. We do have 2 runner-ups, which I have not contacted yet or made contact with, so by next week we'll have their names and get them some prizes as well. For people that want to call into the show, please do so and ask questions. Our local number is 909-888-5800. 5222. And you can win some nice prizes and get to talk to some really nice people, Mike and our guests. And anyway, we do have our guest on the phone.
Excellent.
So I'd like to bring him onto the scene here. We're going to welcome San Bernardino County Supervisor Kurt Hackman. He represents the 4th District, comprised of the cities of Chino Hills, Montclair, Ontario, and Upland. So good evening, Supervisor Hackman. How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on tonight.
We appreciate that. So a couple things. I'm glad you're on. Just want to pick your brains here for a minute and have your constituents hear your responses. What is the status of the existing water and water infrastructure overall in San Bernardino County?
Well, San Bernardino County, like most other Southern California cities, imports water, although we have a great, basin underneath for our residents on drinking water. So we're taking the governor's emergency drought proclamation seriously, and it's painful but necessary to address the 4 years of below average participation. We will continue to look for ways to save water while providing San Bernardino County residents with clean, safe, and high-quality water they deserve.
Well, I know that the city of San Bernardino is in San Bernardino County, and kind of a shout-out to that agency and the people that it serves, because in the last 2 months, May and June, the city water service has reduced that per capita consumption by more than the 25% that was requested by the governor or mandated by the governor. So it was 30.5% reduction in May and 28.1% in June. So, those kinds of numbers are impressive.
Atta girl to Stacy Allstat for that.
Yeah.
I've been seeing that, we haven't had a lot of pushback from our residents. They understand, our residents and businesses know that and see what's going on, especially in San Bernardino County. We have 5 fires already. In my previous life, I was a state legislator for the last 6 years, so I dealt with the water policy of the state. In fact, 7 years ago, we had the water policy aspect of the Schwarzenegger, and we put out the water bond. And the state needs to do a better job of building up its reserves and reservoirs and storage for those years we do have good rainfall, for these years we don't as well. So, the state needs to improve its infrastructure. But the awareness campaign that the local water agencies have been doing, as well as the technology, has really done a great job so far of reducing our water consumption.
Well, I just know for a fact that today there is more drip line or drip irrigation products being installed than ever before in the state of California. And I think the urgency and the recognition of the drought has really motivated those professional contractors that wouldn't use those products before to embrace those products, get trained, and really make an effort to reduce overall water application in the landscape. So while the drought itself is something we don't want to say, hey, let's just do that every 3 years, there are some beneficial side effects in terms of training and new practices and new products that will stay with us for many, many years to come.
Well, I know the state legislation has allocated millions of dollars for matching funds to be used for various water projects such as water storage, desal plants, and etc. Does San Bernardino have plans and the funds available to commence any potential project?
Well, San Bernardino County itself doesn't handle the water issue. We have water agencies that get those funds from the state for grants. And I know a lot of my residents have been taking advantage of replacing their yards with more drought-tolerant landscaping, and there's grants for that as well. In my home city of Chino Hills, I know they replace a lot of the park greenery with low water usage type landscaping as well. So it's mostly driven by, the water agencies throughout the county, and we have several, different ones that go into the programs. But I think their awareness campaign is really starting to hit home.
Is there any effect that's happening to, and I'm not familiar with how much agricultural growing, farming is happening within San Bernardino County. Is there some of that going on?
Oh, absolutely. We have quite a bit in San Bernardino County, which I was surprised when it came to the state as well, how much we had. But, again, farmers, like other businesses, have gotten smarter with their usage of water. When there is a shortage, the price of the commodity goes up. Most of the water agencies have increased their fees on the water usage over certain amounts. And so there's built-in business models as well to start using less and less to grow the crops, as well as our businesses to become much more efficient with their water usage.
I know that the Toro Ag Division, now headquartered in El Cajon, have sent technical people a couple of times to Sacramento to be involved in discussions with the Secretary of Agriculture for the state of California and others directly reporting to the governor as the state of California explores ways to encourage the adoption of these drip irrigation technologies more and more into the farming community. So we're familiar with that. In fact, in a couple of weeks, we're going to feature a show just on the agricultural aspects of the drought and what's happening in that arena. So appreciate your thoughts on sharing those thoughts with us.
Well, agriculture takes up 40% of our water usage in the state as it is, but it's also the number one commodity or production that we have in the state. Both in exports, and we're the breadbasket for a lot of the rest of the United States. So it's a very important part of our economics of California. But there's different methods, like you said, of watering your crops, of keeping them going, of being smart when it rains, and the drip lines and all the rest of the technologies they have determined to keep the crops going, at the same time reduce their usage quite a bit.
We've heard I've read some articles, heard some talk about aquifers within the water basins within the state of California, and how there was a legislation passed in November of 2014 that would start a 5-year process to regulate the amount of water that is pulled from private wells. So my question is does the county of San Bernardino get affected by that legislation?
It does indirectly. Again, the water agencies monitor usage, and basically what we passed in 2014 was you don't want to pull out more than what you're putting in over a period of time, and you do get land subsidence issues if you pull out too much too quickly. But how it does affect us is how fast we can grow, both residents and businesses, and we have to have the availability of water in order to continue our growth. And San Bernardino is going through this growth spurt right now as well. So, one does affect the other, and we have to have all that planning in place, and we have to have the will serve letters from the water agencies before we continue on development.
Is the water drought right now that you see, is it affecting the building industry within the county? Is it halting?
Not as of yet. We do have plenty of reserves. We actually have a huge basin in the valley for water. So what we don't see in rain, we do have the stores. But what you do see is what we have very evident is the fires that we have and others, and that we do need to plan more strategically long term for these periods of time where we don't have rain, and be able to have more storage, and we do have the good rains to bring that back in and recharge our basins and other storage abilities to do that. And that's what the technology comes in, and really the awareness campaign is what the governor's going on, is people be aware of this. So over the long term, we use less on a regular day-to-day business, both for our residents and our businesses, and become more smarter about the precious resource water is.
Do you think that the tiered rates that are occurring, even if we do have an El Nino and we get plenty of water, that they'll still stay in place?
It's hard to say because those will be enacted by both the local municipalities and the water agencies. But if we have a good rain this year, it depends on the snowpack and all the rest of it. Just because we have rain doesn't mean we actually have the storage for that. And unfortunately, we passed a bond, last election cycle. It's our third bond. This is the first time we're actually building some infrastructure for the growth of our state. And it's going to take, decades or a decade before we actually see that project unveil. So this is not just a year or two type of deal. This is a habit we need to form. And we've done that. We've seen the campaigns on using our energy. We get energy efficient appliances and turn off the lights, and those type of awareness campaigns really reduce our energy usage as well. And this is the ongoing process for our water. So I think, this is painful right now especially for a lot of folks and the businesses that use water for the backbone. But in the long run, this helps the stability of our state for these downtimes of drought to get through and build up the good habits we need to have.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you coming on and enlightening our listening audience about what's happening around the county and your perspective on what you see. And we hope to have you back again for a little longer section next time. And again, Mike and I thank you. And
absolutely.
We got to take a little break here. So again, thank you very much.
thank you for what you guys are doing.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And stay tuned with Rob and Mike on the Water Zone Show, KCAA 1050
Because
AM.
we love water.
Are you looking for the right place to purchase your landscaping items? Well, come see us at Hydroscape. Hydroscape offers a large selection of irrigation products including Irritrol and Toro, such as their efficient precision nozzles. For 40 years, Hydroscape has been family owned and operated, serving Southern California. With 17 locations, our knowledgeable and experienced staff is equipped to help you with all your irrigation, landscape, and outdoor living projects. Whether you're installing irrigation systems, wanting to maintain a healthy landscape, or simply create a beautiful lit space for outdoor entertaining, Hydroscape is the place to go. Visit our website at hydroscape.com for more information and find helpful articles on our blog, or call our customer service center at 1-800-395-4477.
Wet'n'Wild Palm Springs is the one where you get big water park fun barefooting. In the sun, barefooting. Flow rider, barefooting. Wet and Wild, barefooting. Bring your friends and stay all day. Wet and Wild is your place to play barefooting.
Yeah, you gotta get barefooting this summer at Wet and Wild. Dive into all the thrills, all the action, all the fun. Take on awesome slides and rides. There's big fun for kids and much more. This summer, we have extended hours, dive-in movies every Friday, and everyone gets free tubes. Plus, save $7 on admission when you buy online or grab discount coupons at area Jack in the Box restaurants. For your best summer ever, it's Wet and Wild.
Slipping, sliding, barefooting. Getting soaked, barefooting. Wet and Wild, barefooting.
Wet and Wild.
Barefooting. Wet and Wild, barefooting.
Wet and Wild. Park open daily.
This is KCAA.
Mike and Rob on KCAA, the Water Zone Show, and hope you're having all a good day. We have a special guest here as well. Lots of special guests today. In fact, every guest we have is special. This gentleman, his name is Mr. Tom Ash, has over 28 years' experience in the fields of water use efficiency, public education, and horticulture. As a water conservation specialist from the University of California previously, Tom was the university liaison to water agencies in Southern California starting in 1987. And this guy goes on and on. He's got a resume that's unbelievable. And the first time I met Tom was 15 years ago, and he was a competitor. So we didn't talk a whole lot. Then we became friends. Then he became a competitor again. We didn't talk as much, and now we're friends again. But he's always been a friend. He's a very smart man. I'd like to introduce Mr. Tom Ash from the Inland Empire Utility Agency. Good evening, Tom.
Good evening, Rob and Mike. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I want to tell our audience that, Tom, you probably wrote one of the very first books on landscaping for drought tolerance or for reduced water consumption. And so you've really been into this issue long before this drought and probably long before the last two droughts. So
we wrote three books, Landscape Management for Water Savings, a Guide to High Desert Landscaping, and Water Preparedness Plan in 2004.
So, you know, we're very fortunate to have you here so we can ask you some questions. I've got to put you on the spot, though, right to start with, Tom. And I need to know, because you've dealt with many water agencies, you've been in this business for many years, what water-saving slogan is your favorite from amongst all the ones you've ever seen or heard at the water agencies you're so familiar with?
So I think my favorite is a billboard of a dog licking a dish, and he's the Dishwasher of the Year award.
Makes you want to go out to eat, doesn't it?
It kind of makes you want to go out to eat instead.
Yeah. Well, you know, our water agencies have gotten pretty creative. You know, I've got stuff like, let's do our part, save water, don't waste what we don't have, shut your tap. Yep. When in drought, save every day in every way, and save the drop. for L.A. So anyway, just having a little fun there.
Yep. So, Tom, we know what IEUA is. Why don't you tell the listening audience what that is?
Well, the Inland Empire Utility Agency is a wholesale agency. We serve 7 cities in the Inland Empire: Upland, Cucamonga Valley, Ontario, Chino Hills, Fontana. We take the sewage, clean it up, recycle that water. It's used in parks and schools and landscapes, and then some of that recycled water is used for groundwater recharge. Your previous guest talked about the basin, the water basin that we have here in the Inland Empire. It is the largest in Southern California, and it's one of the most well-managed because those cities and the Inland Empire Utility Agency have worked for years creating new sources of water just for these kinds of situations, an extended drought like we're having, and it could extend even further. So we're a big wholesale agency, a member of Metropolitan Water District member agencies. So it's part of the organizational chart of how we get water and move water around the state.
Well, in my personal opinion, Rob and I, as the consuming public, we have been just spoiled.
Low consuming.
Water. We've just been spoiled by amazing service, 24/7 availability, and so we just expect it to be there.
Right.
And that's not always the case in many, many countries throughout the world. And it's been people that are dedicated to thinking ahead and doing those things that are allowing us right now to still have water at our taps, at least most of us, in spite of 4 years of drought, which is pretty amazing.
It is, Mike. Let me add to what you just said. You're absolutely right. There's 2 to 3 billion people in the world that have to walk to get their water, and water's heavy. We have gotten spoiled. We can deliver water, typically in the Inland Empire, to the door of any home and business for about $1 a day. That's what it costs for the pipes and the treatment and the pumping and just kind of the fixed costs of getting water to a household. Then the water itself is extremely inexpensive. Especially if you use it efficiently, it's about 2 to 3 tenths of a penny per gallon.
I know. What do we pay in the store for a gallon of water? We easily pay
exactly
$1.69.
times more.
Go to the ball game and buy a bottle of water. It's more than gasoline.
The water agencies do an incredible job, and it's largely out of sight and out of mind because the pipes are underground and you don't see the reservoirs and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
I asked one day. I got an angry customer call, and they didn't understand their water bill, and they didn't think they could possibly use that much water. And then they said, "But water is free. Why do I have to pay for it anyway?" And I thought about it for a second. I agreed with them because water does fall out of the sky in the form of rain and snow. But the real cost, is getting water to you. And our water, in many cases, comes from hundreds of miles away, either Colorado River, Northern California, certainly out of our local mountains. We're lucky here in the Inland Empire to have that ability. But then I asked these folks, do you have a cell phone? And they thought I was being a smart aleck, and I guess I was. But they said, yes, of course. And I said, have you ever had a dropped call? And they stopped, and they said, yeah, it happens all the time. I said, have you ever turned on your tap and never had water? And that sort of changed the conversation because the answer is obviously no.
Yep.
So you're right.
Yeah.
We've done a fantastic job despite the pitfalls of living in a desert.
You know what really put this in perspective, and this will be my last comment on this issue, because I just think the water agencies are undervalued by the consuming public. I learned that the bottled water business is a $100 billion business worldwide, and yet 25% of that water that goes into bottled waters is from the tap, and yet they charge 100 times more for it. So it's all about marketing. So here's this new industry that's over $100 billion, all about marketing, vitamin water and cool water and
oxygenated water,
and waterfall water, Hawaii water, Fuji water, all that stuff. And yeah, some of it's really, really good and pristine, but 25% of that is tap water that we get. So
the water companies take our municipal water and change the taste of it a little bit, take some minerals out, repackage it, put it in a bottle, and sell it to you and I for about 800 to 1,000 times more than it costs coming out of the tap.
So everybody who's listening, we get an awesome deal from our water agencies, even if they would double their price. Not that I'm suggesting they should double the price, but we really should be thankful to our water agencies.
Yep. Hey, Tom, to use some of your expertise in the horticulture world, can you give for our audience a general ranking of high water use plants to low water use plants, and what people should be doing, and what's available in the marketplace?
So there are thousands of plants available to us, at nurseries. We have such a great climate here. We can grow most anything. From the top of the list of the highest water need plants are cool season grasses, fescues, marathon, medallion, and so forth, the fescue grasses. Annuals are also very high water need plants. And then you start dropping down the list to most of the plants that people have in their gardens, the shrubs and the trees, are moderate water use plants. That's why they can survive in a drought or on a day a week or 2 days a week of watering. They can survive just fine. And then lower water use plants would be California native plants from the right part of California, the drier parts for down here, or desert type plants. Remember, we can use plants, and we do use plants from all over the Southwest. Mediterranean and low water use plants come from Australia, the tip of Peru, South Africa, and the Mediterranean region. All of those plants would be very appropriate for use in Southern California.
I'm going to go a little technical because we do have some folks that are really into this plant, the horticultural aspect. But can you describe if there is, or tell us if there is, and if there is, then tell us what we should know about the watering throughout the year of, say, cool season turf or annuals versus those drought-tolerant California natives appropriately chosen? Because in general, we tend to water a lot more in the summer because, there's more need, it's hotter, there's more sun. But is that the case with the California natives?
So let me start with turfgrass. Your first part of your question is, or annuals, since they have short roots, typically 2 to 4 inch root depth, they dry out quickly on a hot day or a hot windy day, and so they tend to need water more frequently. They don't need a lot of water; they just need it more frequently. California native plants, being native to Southern California or California, they've evolved to where they get water in the wintertime when it rains, when it snows, and then there are 6, 7, 8 months of no water. So that's why they can last through a summer with virtually no water. They look a little better if you water them once, maybe twice a month. But you can overwater native plants and low water use plants very easily. If you water them, every other day or a couple times a week, they will die. So that's one of the beauties of a native plant in California, or California native plant, is that it's adapted to our climate of many months of no rain, and they can do very well in the garden. I have a front yard and a partial backyard of native plants. My gallons per capita per day, boy, if you want to get geeky, water geeky, that's a acronym for gallons per person per day.
Yep.
I'm at 62 right now, and that
wow.
puts me pretty low on the water use scale. But I have a fantastic garden. I'm a horticulturist. I want a lot of plant variety and various things. So I don't have a bad garden, and I use very little water.
Excellent. So if I drive around Inland Empire, for example, I see lots of citrus trees because that's a big business here, and also date palms out towards Indio. Is that good practice for the future in the desert area that we kind of have here, or is that something that you think the types of agriculture is going to change? I mean, Mike and I have talked to some other people where they're saying a lot of farmers have changed their crops and going into different things. We talked to a county supervisor in Riverside County, Marion Ashley, and he was saying a lot of the farm people, either they stopped what they were doing and went out of business, or they changed their crops to adapt more to the nature of California. How do you see that?
I think citrus are a tremendous plant for the Inland Empire, and if people have citrus trees in their garden, that's great because they're functional. They give you something for the water and the effort you put into them, and they're not very high water need trees. Citrus are typically about in the middle of the range from high to low water use. You water them deep down in the roots and let it dry out. So if it's once a week, that's just fine. The palm trees, the date palms, come from Mediterranean climate. So and the taller palm trees are actually Mexican fan palms, and they're obviously adapted to this climate. So I think if people wanted to change their landscapes, they should be looking at having fruit trees, just like oranges and lemons and limes. They would do very well here, and have done historically. This was historically a citrus area, and still is remnants of that all over the county.
I got to say, Tom, I've known you for quite a number of years, and I've always been very admiring of your knowledge of irrigation principles and technologies. But today, I've never really asked you any horticultural questions in the past. So, man, this is great. I may be calling you more frequently. But I'm not going to ask you for your phone number here publicly because we don't want to inundate you with a lot of calls. But having that combination of horticultural.
Well, unless we get a commission out of this.
Yeah, that's true. But that combination of horticultural knowledge combined with irrigation principles and technologies, I think, is dynamite. And
yep.
So I congratulate you for that.
We're going to keep you around if that's okay.
I've been lucky in my career to have gone to Cal Poly, worked at both Cal Poly and UC Riverside, and learned, from the experts in the field, and then to be at a water agency where, they're moving water, around all over the state and really managing, the most important resource we have. It really gives me a lot more perspective on, and certainly the horticultural background really helps because 60% of the water that's used in the Inland Empire, at least, goes outside.
Yep.
And water agencies didn't have that expertise.
Yep.
So, some horticulture guy came in the building.
Well, can we keep you around just for a little bit more? We're going to take a quick break, and if anybody wants to call in, it's 909-888-5222 on KCAA 1050 AM and the Water Zone Show with Rob and Mike.
Were you involved in an auto accident? Do you know where to go for repairs? Are you tired of getting ripped off by high prices and inferior work? Then visit us at Inland Empire Auto Body and Paint, located in Riverside at 6411 Industrial Avenue, Suite A. We have an award-winning team of specialists with more than 40 years of auto body work experience. We were also voted #1 in the Inland Empire by MyFox LA. We work with all major insurance companies and use state-of-the-art equipment to get your car back on the road. We work on all makes and models of cars, including RVs. Our auto paint specialist will make sure the job is done right. At Inland Empire Auto Body and Paint, your satisfaction isn't just a goal, it's what drives us. We focus on your needs. Call us for a free estimate at 951-637-1365. That's 951-637-1365. Inland Empire Auto Body and Paint.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-643-9406. That's 1-800-643-9406. Again, 1-800-643-9406. Call now.
Hi, you're back with Rob and Mike on KCAA 1050 AM, the Water Zone Show, and our guest this afternoon is Mr. Tom Ash from the Inland Empire Utility Agency. So, Tom, we're happy to have you back. So, simple questions. If our climate is changing and getting drier, according to some, what should homes and businesses do to keep water bills down, yet maintain an attractive landscape? And where would you start?
Wow. Yeah, if it's your home, you start with seeing if you've got low-flow plumbing devices on the inside. That's probably the easiest place to start. And there are rebates and low-cost products for the inside. But most of our water is used outside, so a family really needs to take a look at what they're using their landscape for. If they use the grass, they should have the grass. And just water it efficiently and use products that the good irrigation companies have made and sell. I think probably going to a distributor in the Inland Empire like Hydroscape can start that process of what do you have and how can you make it more efficient. Then if you wanted to go further, you would start looking at, do I need that grass? Do I use that grass? And what would I put in or use that space for other than grass? And think about the things that you would like to do. Maybe you need a bigger patio. Maybe you want more seating area. Maybe you want more entertaining area. Maybe you want fruit trees. Maybe you want a garden, a vegetable garden or an herb garden. So there's so many resources online to see pictures of different styles of landscapes that can start getting people ideas about what they can do. They certainly should start with looking and seeing if they have any leaks, and that can be done right by opening up the meter box out by the street and seeing when all the water's turned off in the house, seeing if the dial is spinning. If it is, there's a leak, and you're paying for something that's going down the drain. So everybody is interested in having low water bills or not paying extra for things you don't need. So the landscape is one of those. And the other piece I would do is, if you're going to have your landscape as is, turn on every irrigation station, take a look at those sprinkler heads, make sure the water's going where it's supposed to, make sure it covers the area evenly, make sure it's not clogged or heads are not clogged or blocked by shrubs or whatever, and just get that system efficient and or think about changes.
Well,
so everybody's going to be a little different.
I've done that to my outside landscape, and that's a good thing. And now I'm working on the inside portion, and I just figured out a smart way to reduce on the shower time. So I'm going to stop the showers at my house. I'm just going to go to Mike's house and take them over there.
Yeah. Now when you go over for dinner, you bring a little a tote bag with you and say, "Oh, by the way, our plumbing's got a problem. Can I take a shower?" You see how many friends you've got. So, but no, that's right now with the drought emergency, we all gotta try to do whatever we can to save water wherever we can.
Hey Tom,
A measurement that people can do is, I give you the number that I'm at, 62 gallons per person per day in our house, and that's pretty low. So you can take a look at the water bill, and its water bills are in units called 100 cubic feet, a CCF. That's 748 gallons. So you want to try to break that down into gallons, and then you would start dividing by the number of people in the house and a month, divide by 30 days, and you can see what your gallons per capita per day are. That's another indicator.
Well, Tom, we really appreciate you coming on, and we'll call you back, and I'd love to have you on again and learn more about the horticultural side, and because I'm really interested in that. So on behalf of Mike and me, we really thank you, and come join us again.
Well, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, now we're going to play we had a chance of talking with Mr. Gordon Nichols. He's the Director of Governmental Affairs for the Building Industry Association at the Baldy View chapter. And we talked to him yesterday, and we'll let you hear a little about what we talked about as far as how is it affecting the building industry. So I'd like to welcome Gordon Nichols to the show.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. Appreciate you taking time from your busy schedule to join us and share some information with our audience that's very interested in how the drought is affecting various elements of Southern California and economy, landscaping business, water bills, all sorts of different aspects of the drought. And I'm sure you've probably in meetings been discussing some of the drought implications, I would think.
Absolutely. We at the BIA Baldy View chapter and BIA Southern California as a whole have been reaching out to our local water districts to gauge what their expectations are for the governor's executive order and what the measures are that they'll be implementing here to reach the reduction targets that they've been assigned by the state board. And in San Bernardino County, we've got a lot of positive feedback. There have been no talks of reducing development or limiting will serve letters or the sale of meters. And that's a great thing because here in San Bernardino County we have a very unique geological features where essentially we have tons of groundwater. We have 100 years of groundwater underneath our feet as long as we're able to protect it, recharge it, and invest in infrastructure that we can actually access that and be a lot smarter with our water. So we've had a lot of great conversations with a number of different agencies here.
Wow, you guys ought to be piping that to some of the drier areas in California. That's fantastic.
Hey, just
no. We definitely want to keep it here in San Bernardino.
Hey, if this drought continues into a fifth or sixth year, land is probably going to get more valuable there in San Bernardino County, I would think. But hey, before we get into that topic, I want to roll it back just a second because I think Rob has an important question to ask.
Well, just for the listening audience, we know what the BIA is, but can you explain it to our listening audience? What is the purpose of the BIA? What do you do? And then we can get into some of the more details.
Great. Yeah, well, the Building Industry Association Southern California is our umbrella corporation, and we have 4 chapters in Southern California. We service, the Baldy View chapter services all of San Bernardino County, the 24 cities, and 12 cities in the eastern portion of Los Angeles County. And we have 3 other sister chapters that service Orange County, Riverside County, and Los Angeles Ventura. And our goal as a nonprofit trade association is to promote the ability for new home builders to build new homes, to bring new products to the market, and to meet the demands for housing and residential development in Southern California. And we have roughly 1,300 member companies throughout Southern California. We're also associated with the California BIA, who represents us at a state level in Sacramento, and with the National Association of Home Builders that represent us at the federal level and in Washington, D.C. So at BIA Baldy View, our goal here is to just encourage an environment where home builders can continue to do what they do best, and that's bring quality homes to the market.
Has the water restrictions affected any of the building growth in your territory?
The restrictions haven't affected us directly. Of course, the governor's executive order wisely advised against any restrictions on new development. However, new development is required to do our part, and we're encouraged to use water more responsibly when it comes to things like grading. We're encouraged to use recycled water where available for grading and dust control. And then, of course, we're also doing new things in our landscape ordinances where we will not be having any more sprayers. We'll be just doing drip and microspray irrigation in all of our new developments. So if you do go to a new model home, I encourage you to check it out. There are such an abundance of new features, even from just a few years ago, that go into these new homes to keep them beautiful and very efficient in both energy and water.
Well, from that standpoint, I would assume the ordinances that you're speaking of, the Model Water Efficient Landscape Ordinance, which on new developments, new home developments would require the use of smart controllers. Is that something that is widely known amongst the builders in San Bernardino County, do you think?
Well, if it's in the ordinance, I'm sure it's very well known because they're held to that ordinance and the model landscape ordinance. I know that it's strongly encouraged. We actually had one of our members of BIA, Architera Landscape Architects. They actually did a recent study, and they had a model home site pre-2010, and then they did the exact same site doing new 2010 with the AB 1881, which is the model landscape ordinance that you're talking about, and then they did another one with the new 2015 drought-mandated requirements. And what they found out is, if you did pre-2010 all turf, you use about 55,000 gallons a year. Now, after 2010, after AB 1881, to be more compliant, the new homes will be using only 3,800 gallons to irrigate an outdoor landscape per year. And on top of that, with the new 2015 drought mandates, the new homes will only be using 21,000 gallons per year. That's a 65% savings from homes built pre-2010 on outdoor irrigation. So there's a lot of different features and a lot of different landscapes and equipment that new home developers are using to reduce their outdoor irrigation significantly, including smart controllers by Toro. There's drip irrigation and different smart sprayers that don't overspray onto the concrete and the sidewalk. And then, of course, there's always the selection of plants. Drought tolerant and California natives use a significant less amount of water.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting because in discussing the drought and even discussing water use pre-drought with water agencies, because we like to stay in touch with them and share new technologies and stay abreast of what's happening with legislation potentials. There was always that orientation that, we've got to be more, you've got to think a little bit more about where we do use turf and what kind of turf we use, warm season versus cool season turf grass, new varieties that just by their very nature use 25 to 30% less water. So the marketplace seems to be responding to the increased demand for water-saving alternatives, both on the irrigation side of things as well as plant selection. Some of these new homes, they're very attractive, they're very well laid out, and the colors that you can get with plant material is just phenomenal. So it's all about knowing what to choose. But I will tell you that as a state, I don't know if you heard, but June was the second month in a row that we exceeded as a state the 25% water use reduction that was mandated by the executive order of the governor. So people are responding. Do you find that there is kind of a general positive orientation to pitching in and doing what one can to reduce water consumption?
Absolutely. We wanted to highlight at BIA, a number of solutions, and we wanted to be part of the overall drought solutions. We had 4 recommendations to, number one, remove existing decorative turf where necessary. That falls a lot in the medians that we see or even on the street scenes where it's decorative turf and alternatives can be put in. That's one recommendation. The other recommendation is to retrofit your existing homes because, once again, existing homes represent 99.9% of all the housing stock. New homes statewide only represent less than 1% of the housing stock annually. So we're really only bringing on a small portion of the overall housing stock every year. And so for significant water savings, we need to look to older homes to retrofit them with high-efficiency faucets and smart controllers. And we're supportive of updating the California's Water Efficiency Ordinance once again for be even smarter, to be even more efficient. And then we're really supportive of supporting water infrastructure, new water infrastructure for recharge, for recycled water. And those are 4 recommendations that we as an industry are bringing to the table that we're supportive of. And we've had a lot of great responses from the water districts on that topic. And the water districts themselves have done a great job of informing the public. I was recently at a Cucamonga Valley Water District meeting, and they gave away what they call their Water Hero Awards. And they gave away gift cards to Home Depot for 6, I believe, residents in the Cucamonga Valley Water District that had exceptional landscapes. And they actually have this up on their website, but just wonderful and beautiful landscapes using California natives, using plant selection, alternative lawn covers like low-mow lawn covers that are really water efficient and really maintenance friendly. And what we've heard and what we've seen, kind of just in the general consensus, both by home builders and by new residents, is that once the new efficient landscape comes in, because it does take a little bit of time to bloom. It's not like turf where you have that instant gratification. It does take a little bit of time to bloom. But once it's in there, it's beautiful. The maintenance is a lot lower. You're using a lot less water, and we've had a really positive response on that.
I think that's great. And, just to cap it off, if you go back to the gallons per capita per day baseline usage of 2005, which the Department of Water Resources used, we were at 192 gallons per day per person on average in 2005. We're now at or below 100 gallons per day per person. And if we continue to work together to be more water conscious and we implement some of these new technologies, new landscape approaches, new plant materials, I think our water future is bright, especially given the increased attention that this drought has focused on improving the infrastructure within California. So I remember once they said, you got to do all of the above. There's not just one way we're going to fight this drought and solve our long-term water resources issue. So it's great to hear that the building industry is doing their part, and I really appreciate these 4 recommendations that have been put together. Very, very excellent. Thank you.
And Gordon, thank you very much for jumping in and coming on board with the BIA handling the government affairs. You've done a great job, and I'm happy working with you as well. So, again, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate it, and you have a nice week.
Thank you, gentlemen. You too. Take care.
Okay. Well, the week goes really quick, and the hour goes unbelievably fast. It just seems like we just started. Thanks, everybody, for listening in. Don't forget to listen next week to the Water Zone Show with Mike and Rob, and use your water more wisely, and do your best.
I will take that as a personal challenge, Rob. Thank you.
And I'll be at your house at 7 for the shower.
All right, that's right. You're invited to dinner beforehand.
Okay, thanks.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
It's time for some Dillylicious food at Pizza Dilly. Pizza Dilly Pizza in Colton, home of the famous 2-foot pizza with 32 slices of simply the best Dillylicious Pizza Dilly mouth-watering pizza. Pizza Dilly has all kinds of lunch specials Monday through Friday, starting at $3.99, all Dillylicious. Stop by, refresh, refuel, have a cold drink, enjoy a tasty salad or a great specialty Dillylicious sub sandwich, or simply Dillylightful Pizza Dilly wings. Pizza Dilly is also People Dilly because your friends are all already there enjoying one of Pizza Dilly's giant screens, watching one of their favorite teams, and if you